Instagram is being weird, but hello to everyone else. If you're catching a replay, comment below replay so I can welcome you and thank you for watching. All right, let's get this together. There we go. Okay, now we are live. I don't know why Instagram keeps trying to play me. But hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thursday before a holiday weekend. How are you all feeling? How are you doing? How has the week been treating you? Let me know down in the comments. I am excited to join you tonight for a quick live stream to just talk to you about next steps in your business and what to do when things are going well. I think so often we focus on what to do when things are wrong, when there's a challenge, when there's no sales, this and that. And that's great, that's helpful. But a lot of times we don't talk about what to do when things are going right. And a lot of my clients, when they start to see success from our frameworks, will start to say, what am I supposed to do now? I feel like I should be doing something. I'm not busy. What's going on? So that's what I want to talk to you tonight about. What to do when your offer is actually selling, when you are actually seeing consistent sales, when you are seeing the clients that you want and that you dream of. So as people are coming into the room, let me quickly introduce myself. Hello, my name is Kashaira. I am an internationally board certified success coach. My specialty is business coaching. I actually work with both new and experienced coaches on growing and scaling their online coaching business. And tonight, again, I want to talk to you about what to do when your program is actually selling. I have a lot of content on what to do when your program is not selling. So if that is what you need, that is available for you literally everywhere. But tonight, I want to just walk you through the process of what now, what's next, what happens when you are no longer in the struggle and you are not wearing the struggle cape, okay? You are seeing the sales that you want, you are attracting the clients that you want, and it is now time to grow. It is now time to do next steps. When this happens, there's typically three core phases that you're going to go through in this process. The first phase that you're going to need to experience after your offer begins to sell is what I call the refinement phase. This is the phase where we are now evaluating the performance of our offer from a client results standpoint. Yes, coaches, we do need to track our client results. While we are not 100% responsible for those results because the client on their end has to show up and do the work, we have to ensure that our programs are built and structured in a way that is actually going to generate the results that we are promising within our messaging. So one of the first things that I want you to think about within client management is how are you actively tracking your client's progress? What systems do you have in place to measure them? So within my program, the Founder Circle, I actually give my clients a lot of the tools that I use for one-on-one coaching that I leverage for client management. And then within the Coaches League, you then get access to the tools that I have to manage my group program, because managing a group program does look a lot different than managing a one-on-one program. But it's not just tracking who's booking calls and where they add in the modules. It's also measuring their behavior within the program, which basically means their level of engagement, but then also looks like measuring their level of understanding. And there's a number of ways to do that, which we don't have time to get into today. That's something that we learn within our programs. That client management piece is key. It's not just about are we getting sales and are we getting clients. If our clients are not having good experiences with us or not seeing results with us, we need to quickly course correct. Otherwise, those consistent sales we've been seeing are going to stop and they're going to halt at some point. So you have to make sure that you're tracking your client engagement. Sometimes you may have coaching clients who may be afraid to say they are confused, they don't get it. And I know that you feel that as the coach, right, they enrolled in your program, they should be comfortable telling you these things. Some people, they aren't. They haven't worked past that ego piece yet, and that's not a bad thing. That's completely normal. So they may not feel comfortable saying to you, this wasn't clear, this didn't make sense. And so as the coach, you need to have certain parameters in place of how you're actually measuring understanding beyond just waiting for them to ask questions. That is why I'm so anti your coaching programs being solely Q&A based, because the client doesn't know what they don't know. So if we don't actually come to the table with proven frameworks, with curriculum, with roadmaps, which is what a lot of programs these days are missing, then we're not even giving them a chance to truly be successful within our program. So we need to be tracking our clients' progress and level of understanding. As we're working through that within the refinement process, we can also begin to revise our offer. The first iteration of your offer is never the last. Neither is typically the second or third. Even though the offer is selling, the way the offer is structured may need to change. And that's where the mindset of continuous improvement comes into play here. I am not saying that you need to be creating new curriculum every single day, but you may need to play around with how you deliver that curriculum, the order of that curriculum, and even how much you give at one time. For example, with the Founders Circle, I've had that program for almost 2 years now. With that program, the messaging and the promises remain the same, but the way we deliver the content in terms of the order and the structure has been revised a number of times based on what I've noticed and observed about clients, right? I've been able to go back in and say, based on how they interpreted this, I need to put this part first and move this part around, or I may actually need to add something, not take anything out, but I may need to add something to give more context to this. If you're not actively tracking your clients and measuring their progress, the ego in you as the coach will say, my program is perfect and it was just this person that didn't get it, but everything is kosher. And then you're going to just keep going on with this program that's not truly being as powerful as it can be and truly helping that client to see those results. So you have to also be open to the fact that our programs could use some work, and that does not mean that they're bad. Nor does it mean that we're bad coaches, okay? Sometimes we get a little too emotionally involved and attached and we take feedback personally. It's not personal, right? Everything has an opportunity to shift, right? Every process has an opportunity to revolve and move around. So we have to evaluate how we're delivering our programs. And this is a great time for you to evaluate your frameworks, because in the beginning, as a brand new coach, you're mapping out your frameworks in the way that you understand it, in the way that you know it. But you now have to watch other people who have no idea what you're talking about go through it, right? And that's going to uncover things that you as the expert may have not even thought about, things that you overlooked. So that means your frameworks, as you continue to serve more clients, should in fact be getting more detailed. And I'm going to trust that if you are selling your offer consistently, you do have proven frameworks that you've mapped out, right? So because the frameworks impact how long the program is, how much support the program has, and also the pricing of the program. I know I'm speaking to experienced coaches right now, but let me talk to my new coaches for a second. Please stop creating your coaching programs based off of what sounds good. I know everybody has a 90-day program that costs X amount of dollars, but that doesn't mean that you should or that you want to, right? Your program needs to be shaped around how long it's actually going to take for you to help a client get the transformation you are providing. It might take longer than 90 days. It might not take a full 90 days, but we jump so quick into, I just want to have a 3-month program. I just want to have a $5,000 offer. And that's just all we're going with versus really thinking about leading with the value first. The money will come, the prestige will come, but we need to build these offers in a way that's going to deliver results. Coaching is a luxury. Coaching is a very prestigious luxury. And so in that, we as coaches have a responsibility to not half-ass it and to fully go into this with conviction around what we're teaching. And us needing to make adjustments does not mean that something's wrong with it. It just means there's an opportunity for adjustment. And of course, you have an opportunity to adjust your pricing as well, because as you begin to get more client results, ideally your pricing should increase, because what should happen is the result should knock your socks off and go beyond what you expected, which then actually naturally leads to a price increase within the refinement phase. This is also a great opportunity for you to create supplemental materials to enhance your user experience. So when you first get started as a coach, you typically are in like minimum viable phase, right? You're typically not launching with a lot of workbooks and videos and portals. If you want to, you can, but typically that slows us down. But as you work with more clients, this gives you an opportunity to now create supplemental materials they actually need versus what sounds good. I don't believe in wasting time creating materials if we don't have a proven need for it, right? There's no true business case for it. We're just making it because so-and-so had it or we saw this somewhere else versus what does our target market actually need. So this is a great time now as you're seeing consistent clients and you don't have to spend as much time doing outward marketing. You can now come in and do more inner work on the business. And additionally, in refinement phase, you are increasing your efficiency. You are now looking to see, how can I be more efficient with what I'm doing? I can now begin to document processes and operations and really get things streamlined. But what tends to stop people in this phase from moving ahead? Number one, attempting to try to scale and expand too soon. So yes, you are seeing coins, right? You're seeing sales, your offer is doing very well, and you are preparing to scale. And one of the ways you may scale could be turning your offer into a group program, turning your offer into a course. These are the things we cover in the Coaches League. But if we do it before we've refined our one-on-one offer, we're basically trying to scale on shaky ground. Not to mention, we're not efficient yet. So all we're going to do is overwhelm ourselves. And we're going to create more work for ourselves and end up needing to go back to the drawing board faster than we anticipated, right? The refinement phase does not have to last forever, but this is one of those things where I'm gonna need you to trust the process and do the back end stuff that nobody but your clients will see, which honestly should be the most important group to you. Do those things so that we can actively scale to that next level with a more solid foundation. Something else that pops up here is imposter syndrome, right? You've started to see success, you've stepped off the struggle bus, and now you are seeing the dollars in revenue that you wanted, and imposter syndrome creeps up, and you start to feel like secretly in your mind you may not deserve it. You're a fraud. People are not gonna like you anymore. This is a one-time fluke. And so this is where you have to start to do some of that mindset work, right? We talked about this a lot during Scale Week, but we need to start doing that mindset work, because if we don't, we're going to create a blockage where we're now going to hit the revenue ceiling, where we can't get beyond a 10K month, a 15K month, a 20K month. And, okay, I have to say this. This is going to sound ridiculous, but when you start to make 10, 15, 20K, you start to realize that that's not really any money. Like, I'm not trying to sound entitled, but like, your bills increase, right? Like, your business bills increase because you're paying for team, you're investing in more things, and you start to realize that these are like lower levels of revenue in coaching, and you begin to naturally crave more because you want to now do more. You now want to have full-time employees. You now want to maybe have a physical office space. You may now want to invest in other ventures, and you need more profit margin to do that. So you want to increase your revenue. And so with that being said, we can hit a revenue ceiling if we have imposter syndrome popping up here, because we can create energetic blockages that can prevent these additional clients and other opportunities to make more money through expanding our brand. We can block those things from coming in, and then we will think that we're the problem. We'll begin to blame tactics and strategy and the audience and this and that, and it's just a whole self-fulfilling prophecy. I have a whole video, it's like an hour long, about imposter syndrome. If you feel like you are dealing with that, I would encourage you to watch it. It's literally everywhere: IGTV, YouTube, Facebook, all of the places. But those are some of the things that can come up during the refinement phase that I want you to be aware of. Okay, once you've made it through the refinement phase, the next phase is what I call the prestige phase, right? This is where we're now going out and we're actively telling the story. This is where we are actively seeking opportunities to get in front of people's audiences and talk about our case studies and our programs and our results and our vision. This is where we're doing more interviews, right? Podcasts and press, and we may be doing virtual conferences or in-person conferences when those come back. We're doing speaking engagements, and you may even start to host your own events, right? Your own paid webinars or paid trainings or in-person events, your own retreats, conferences, things like that, things that I have a ton of experience in and I do really miss. This is a great opportunity for you to now step into that phase. And within the Coaches League, one of the streams of revenue that I'm going to teach you, or two of them, is both events and speaking/training for a fee. And the reason why this typically comes after the refinement phase in my world is because we want a powerful story to tell. And if you're someone who's ever pitched for press, you know how important it is to have a solid story. So what makes a story powerful? The results in the case study. It's like, yes, this worked for you and helped you with your situation, but how has it helped and moved someone else? So if you've been doing the work within your program to refine it and help your clients get even better results, you now have such a more powerful story, which now makes you recognizable in your space and literally undeniable in your space. It just gives you so much more to stand on here. So you have an opportunity to expand through subject matter expertise by getting in front of not only your own audience in unique and different ways, but also the audiences of other people. I will tell you that while I love doing interviews, like I love doing summits and things like that, if it's done too soon, to be completely transparent, it can be a waste of time. If your messaging isn't solid, if you're not clear about your future and your path, because also what I've seen happen when you launch your business for the very first time, your very first offer, you may think that you have one vision and one goal and one idea, you get some experience and then you get a whole other vision, right? And you then pivot and you want to serve a different clientele, or you want to serve a different niche, or you want to go deeper. Those things are supposed to happen. It's natural. You don't know what you don't know. It's not until you get experience in the thing that you realize what you like and what you don't like. But if we start this press tour too soon and then have to do a massive rebrand, we've basically wasted time pitching an audience around things that we aren't going to offer anytime soon, things that we are not going to sell, and get people that who are not the right fits for what we're actively trying to do. Now it is so much easier for me to say yes and no to certain opportunities because I am very clear on who I am talking to, who I am marketing to, who I'm called to serve. And so now when I do press, when I do speaking, when I do events, when I get contracts, it is very easy to discern which ones make the most sense to me, even when they are paid. For me at this point in my journey, it's not just about the check, it's about the energy, it's about the time, it's about the bandwidth, right? So it has to make sense on all fronts in order for me to do that. That's why this comes later, because now you have so much more clarity. You have an immense level of clarity that fully allows you to be so much more intentional with the spaces you choose to occupy. And what's beautiful about this space is that you do have a choice. You do get to decide where you want to be and what you want to engage in this phase. So going back to my notes, I definitely lost them for a second. If you have a question, drop it in the chat. But what can happen in this particular phase and prestige phase, as we are now getting out to expand our footprint and expand our territory? We can tell ourselves that we're not ready yet, and we can busy ourselves with some of the back end stuff from the refinement phase, and we can fall into the trap of never being ready, never being available, right? We can also end up in a phase which is the exact opposite of jumping in front of any and every opportunity, being so pressed, honestly, for exposure that we burn ourselves out and we end up really overwhelmed because we have all of these low vibrational engagements on our calendar, things that are not paying us, things that are not getting us in front of the right people, things that we're kind of hoping for the best, things that just didn't really sit right with us in the first place. We end up in that phase because, again, that imposter syndrome, that inadequacy is popping up and it's making you think that if you don't do all of these things, then you can't keep your business afloat. Things are not going to work out the way that you want them to. So we want to address these mindset concerns immediately for the sake of your energy and your calendar. And then the last phase here is the growth phase. This is where you're fully stepping into your CEO seat. This is where you've gone through refinement. Your signature offer is like perfection. It's like everything you want it to be. You've been going through your prestige phase. You've been telling your story. You've also been building a team in this phase as well, bringing in support in whatever way makes the most sense for you. And now we're getting ready to expand, and we may expand in a couple of different ways. We may be getting ready to turn our one-on-one offer into a group program, or our existing group program into a high-end mastermind. So we may be in that transition, which sounds really easy, but there is a strategy and an approach to that to ensure that your group program actually works. I've talked to a number of people who've been scarred by group programs because they were not structured correctly. They were not structured in a way that they should be, right? You may decide that you want to create a membership community. You may want to get into digital products. You may want to get into publishing, create your own books, or even get into physical products. Create your own product line, write your own journals and planners and cards and whatever it is you want to create. But within this space, you have to step into the CEO seat. You cannot fully do all of these things and still be the social media manager, the accountant, the coach, customer service, janitorial, like catering. Like, you can't still play all of those roles. So if you have made it to the growth phase and haven't built a team yet, this is the time where you want to step into that, right? And tackle whatever trust issues you might have with other people, because I know that you're excellent at what you do when you're the best at what you do, but you need some support to do this so that you do not get burnt out and you see the results you desire to see. In this instance, it sounds really easy, right? It sounds like, okay, go out, hire a couple contractors, and then come and put together this course, put together this program. But what can happen is we can end up back in the same way we started, which was trying things that sound good to us but may not resonate with the customer. Trying things that we've seen others in our spaces do, but it may not resonate with our market, right? Or we're not really connecting the dots between our offers. We're just throwing things out there. And yes, you can totally connect affirmation cards and a high-end group coaching program. There can be some interlinking there where these are not just standalone objects, but these things actually connect on a strategic level. As the CEO, you are setting that strategy. You are crafting that vision and seeing how these things are going to work out, how all of these dots, all these pieces are going to fall on the board. But we have to step into that seat. That transition is harder than it sounds. We put on Instagram all day long, CEO mindset, CEO this and that, CEO this, and we're not acting like that. We are acting like the assistant project manager and not the CEO. We have to transition into that space. We have to start to build out real strategy versus just jumping into whatever the hottest new thing is, so that what we are actively working on becomes a profit stream versus a work stream. There is a difference. You can spend all day and all night working on something and it cannot make you a dime, even when you are beyond the six-figure mark. There is a such thing as things flopping even when you are beyond the six-figure mark versus something actually being a profit stream in more ways than one. Not just making money for the thing itself, but also serving your other pathways to revenue. Let me know if that makes sense. But this is what's happening in the growth phase. So now you have to figure out, in what way do you want to expand? What makes the most sense? And if you are expanding in a number of ways, what's the rollout plan for that, right? What's the tiered rollout? So we're not putting all of this stuff out at the same time, but we're actually being very intentional with it. This is one of the top goals of the Coaches League. I'm teaching you how to scale in an out-of-the-box manner that will continue to bring revenue for you without the burnout. In the coaching industry, we're taught that the only way to scale is to create a really boring passive online course. And if that's your path, that's your path. But there are so many other ways to do so that still feeds the fire within you, the purpose within you, that actively wants to serve and help others, that can still also bring financial freedom for you and your family, and can also bring a feeling of fulfillment for you as the leader and CEO of this company. But if you notice, with each phase we go through, there's different blockages that can come up that can either slow us down or stop us altogether, which is why we have the limitless living framework within the Coaches League, which is essentially life coaching and also some inner child healing work as well, to eliminate these things. Because even though you may not in this exact moment feel imposter syndrome, that does not mean it will not come up for you at some point as you begin to make these moves. If you've ever made a huge move in your business that gave you crazy results, you know that there was a lot of discomfort that came with that, and it looks different for everybody. For some people, it's imposter syndrome. For others, it's fear. For others, it's money. For others, it's lack. For others, it's inadequacy, right? For others, it's trust. It could be a number of different ways, but a lot of business programs, unfortunately, are not equipping you for that. They're just saying, go, 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 go. Execute, 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 but they're not thinking about the fact that you're burnt out, overwhelmed, stressed out, and you're battling internal things that you've never even faced before, and you don't know what it is. You think something's wrong with you when it is completely normal and natural. That's why this is a hybrid experience. Yes, you're going to get the business, the marketing, the sales, the operations, the team, the expansion, but we also have to do some identity work as well so that you can fully become the CEO you want to be and you were meant to be. in a seamless way without having to figure this out and crash and burn the hard way. So these are the things that I want you to think about as you're mapping out your vision around not just saying what do I want to do and when do I want to do it, but also thinking about who do I need to become at each phase of this process to actually make this happen. With that being said, if anything I've said to you tonight has resonated, I encourage you to visit thecoachesleague.co to read more about our program and to apply to become a founding member of the program so that you and I can talk more about what your 5 to 10 year plan in the coaching industry can look like. With that, I'm going to let you all go. Have a fabulous holiday weekend, and I will talk to you all in the next video.